Hello and welcome to Sugar Valley. This is a new series we're going to start doing, which is, you know how great our oranges are, we don't need to tell you that, but there's many other ways than just juicing and eating them that you can possibly use. So we're going to be making, first and foremost, one of my favourites, which is an orange drizzle cake. Now what you'll need is flour, butter, eggs, sugar for in the mix, sugar for the glaze, handy mixer, baking tray with baking parchment, a juicer, some things to get the zest off of, some scales, and of course an orange or two. And what is any chef slash cook slash baker without their trusty apron? So I'm really looking forward to showing you some of the slightly less common uses of oranges that aren't just peeling and juicing and eating. So let's crack on with it. So now we're going to combine our sugar with our butter, and we're going to beat that. It's coming. Beating is definitely beating. So once it's combined and beaten, it should have this slightly grainy looking texture, and that's absolutely perfect because that will then all disintegrate and amalgamate during the cooking process. I haven't quite got to the mastery of the one-handed egg crack yet. And now what I need to do is combine these 4 eggs with the mixture and then mix those in. Got to be careful with eggs because they do have a tendency to try and splurt out at you, which is not what we are here to do today. So now we've added our eggs, so what we're going to do is beat that into our butter and sugar mixture, and then afterwards we're going to add our flour. And now we add in our flour, and after we've added our flour, we add our orange zest. Making sure we get all that zest because it's really deep and orange and beautiful. And then we give it a really good mix to incorporate all of those different elements. So that is all our ingredients for the baked aspect of our orange drizzle cake. Give it a good mix together, but don't overwork it. If it's got a little bit of lumps and bumps, that's absolutely fine. It'll all pan out and amalgamate in the cooking process. The thing is that if you do overwork it now, it will end up being a little bit rubbery and a bit spongy and a bit pulley and a bit pingy, and you don't want that. You want something that kind of just sort of crumbles almost off the fork, but not one of those annoying ones that it crumbles off the fork and you have to like scoop it up with a spoon to eat it. Kind of just cuts nicely with a fork and then you can very delicately eat it. And now we need to add 2 tablespoons of orange juice. Here's some I prepared earlier. And don't worry about all these things about exact measurements, especially with this kind of stuff. Go with a little bit of feeling. 1, 2, and a little bit for luck. So you can consistently see that the colour is getting darker and darker and more of that beautiful vibrant orange colour. And I know they say it in loads and loads of the smell-o-vision type things, but oh my god, if you could smell this, it smells amazing. And it's not even cooked yet. Okay, so now we've got our beautiful mixture that is not overworked, and we need to put it into our baking tray. So now we need to flatten it out into the edges of our greased baking parchment tray. And once we've done that, we're going to pop it in the oven for 40 to 45 minutes. Okay, so now we've got everything ready for this to go in the oven. Oven set at 160 degrees if it's a fan assisted oven, 180 if it's not, and this is going in for 40 to 45 minutes. So we'll see you in a little bit. We need to make our drizzle to go over our orange drizzle cake. So we take the oranges that we had earlier that we've already taken the zest from, and we're going to now cut them in half. And the other one. And now we're going to go and juice these and mix them with the caster sugar. So we're going to juice these oranges and then we're going to put it with the caster sugar, mix it all up, and then we're going to drizzle that over our orange drizzle cake at the end. It's important to try and get this done as early as possible so then you have time for the orange to really permeate and really amalgamate with the sugar. So then once it goes into the cake, it's going to leave that real beautiful drizzly texture. Mixing our caster sugar in with our orange. And then we need to give it a good mixy. And we need to let that all sit there and bond together, become really good friends. And then we're going to drizzle that over the orange drizzle cake at the end, about 5 minutes after it's out of the oven, so it's not too hot that it evaporates all of that wonderful moisture, but also not that it's too cold and becomes a little bit firm. So we need to get that just right on the money. Once your 40 to 45 minutes is up, do take it out, and what I find the best way to test it is by putting a knife into it, and if it comes out reasonably clean and isn't still full of mixture, then that's it done. If it comes out completely clean, maybe slightly overdone. We need to go and let this cool for about 10 to 15 minutes, but what we still want to do is to apply the drizzle while it's still warm, so then it goes and permeates and gets into all those wonderful little places within the cake. So, something that's not used very often in catering or baking terms is poking. And what we're going to do in order to allow our orange drizzle to penetrate into our cake is we're going to poke it. I'm going to poke it a lot in order to make all these little holes. So we've got some really nice big bamboo ones, but you can also use these beautiful little cocktail sticks. Now, you need to take this bad boy out and look at that. So we're going to leave it in here because I've made that mistake before. If you take it out of this too early, all the drizzle that's drizzling off goes all over your carpet, goes all over your table, and goes all over you. And don't be shy about poking it in the sides as well, because this is all access for that beautiful orange drizzle. So just poke it everywhere you fancy, and when you get fed up, poke it some more. And now we're ready for drizzling. So we've now got what is now looking a bit like a very spotty orange drizzle cake without the drizzle, from where we've been poking it and jabbing it with all our prongs to allow all of this drizzle to go in. Now we either take a spoon, so spoon's absolutely fine, or next level is this little basting brush that you'd use for a roast or to go and do like focaccias and things like that. I tend to really enjoy using these because it just gets that better even spread of this wonderful drizzle. And make sure you keep mixing, because that caster sugar will keep trying to go to the bottom. And what we need to do is make sure that it's actually still mixing with the orange as we're going. And you'll have plenty of it, so don't feel that you kind of need to spread it too thin. This is not The Hobbit, you're not trying to put butter over too much bread. And by continually layering this drizzle over the top, you're allowing the previous layer that you've spread to get into all these little nooks and crannies. So then you can then just top it up, and then it's got even more. And it's going in all around the sides, and as you can see, it's being collected. Okay, I'm dribbling a little bit, but it's being mainly collected by this parchment paper. So then it will go all beautifully and crusty along the sides. And that is going to make a wonderful little afternoon tea snack. And if you're not into tea, coffee, madronio, sambuca for our Swedish friends. And this is what you should end up with. This is our orange drizzle cake. So we're going to cut into this bad boy. And you can already hear how lovely and moist it is. So as we can see, top we've got the beautiful crust, we've got some caramelization forming from the sugars mixed in with the orange, and then you can see as it's kind of drying the further down it goes. So that is our orange drizzle cake, Sugar Valley oranges. And because one piece is never enough, we always have room for two.